I died choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the prison guards laughed and looked away. Betrayed by the man I loved. Framed for a murder I didn't commit. My last thought was of his smile, the one that hid the knife in his back. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my 28-year-old body, heart pounding in the cramped apartment I'd called home before it all went to hell. The mirror across the room showed my face, unscarred and wide-eyed. The date on my phone confirming it, March 15th, 2018. 7 years before the trial that buried me alive. I touched my neck, feeling the pulse that should have stopped, and whispered, "This time, you bastard, I'm coming for you." I stumbled back from the mirror, my knees buckling like they'd forgotten how to hold me up. The apartment was a time capsule of my old life, takeout containers stacked on the counter, my laptop humming with half-finished articles, the faint scent of Jake's cologne lingering on the couch where we'd made love just last night. Or was it 7 years ago? Time folded in on itself, a cruel origami of what-ifs and second chances. Jake Harlan. The name alone sent a shiver down my spine, the kind that used to excite me, but now felt like ice water in my veins. We'd met at a journalism conference in D.C. Two ambitious hacks chasing the next big scoop. He was all charm and sharp suits, with eyes that promised forever and a laugh that disarmed even the toughest editors. I fell hard, built my world around him. Ella Thompson, rising star investigative reporter for the Chicago Tribune, reduced to a lovesick fool scribbling notes on his every word. But that was before I knew the truth. Before I uncovered the rot at the heart of Senator Elias Grant's campaign embezzlement, bribes from Big Pharma, a trail of silenced witnesses. Jake was my partner in the story, feeding me leads, celebrating late nights with cheap whiskey. We broke it wide open. Front page glory. Then the backlash hit. Threats. My apartment ransacked. And Jake? He turned state's evidence, swearing I'd fabricated it all for clicks. Planted evidence linked me to the murder of Grant's aide, a convenient corpse dumped in the Chicago River. My fingerprints somehow on the gun. I didn't kill him. But in court, with Jake's testimony painting me as the jealous psycho, the jury bought it. Life without parole. Then, in Gen Pop, a suicide attempt that left me bleeding out on the cell floor. The guards, paid off by Grant's machine, made sure I wouldn't talk. Now, here I was, alive again, reborn, or cursed, or whatever the hell this was. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone, scrolling through texts from Jake. "Miss you already, babe. Dinner tonight?" The innocence of it made my stomach churn. I deleted them one by one, each tap a small act of severance. I needed a plan. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon through minefields. First, document everything. I fired up my laptop, fingers flying over keys as I poured out the future I remembered, the trial transcripts I'd memorized in my cell, the bribes that sealed my fate, Jake's secret meetings with Grant's fixer. It was a digital confession, time-stamped and encrypted, my insurance policy against another frame job. But paranoia gnawed at me. What if this was a dream, a coma hallucination? I pinched my arm hard enough to bruise, the pain sharp and real. No, this was flesh and blood. I dressed quickly, jeans, boots, a hoodie to blend into the gray March slush of Wrigleyville, and headed out. The L train rattled me downtown, past the Tribune Tower gleaming like a false idol. I couldn't go back there yet. Too many eyes. Too many leaks. My first stop, a burner phone from a corner store in Pilsen. The kind of place where no one asks questions. Then, a dingy internet cafe, where I emailed my manifesto to a trusted contact, Lila, my old college roommate turned podcaster. If anything happens to me, release this. Love. E. She wouldn't understand the urgency, but she'd listen. By noon, I was staking out Jake's office at the Sun-Times. He was still a junior editor then, climbing fast on my coattails. I watched from a coffee shop across the street, nursing a black drip that tasted like regret. He emerged at 1 p.m., whistling, oblivious. Tall, broad-shouldered, that boyish grin flashing at a passing intern. My chest tightened. God, I hated how much I still wanted to believe in him. I followed him to lunch at a Loop Bistro, the kind with overpriced salads and power deals. He met a contact, mid-40s, slick hair, the fixer I'd later ID as Victor Kane, Grant's shadow. They huddled in a corner booth, voices low. I couldn't hear, but I snapped photos with my phone, zooming in on the envelope Jake pocketed. Bribe money? Early seeds of betrayal? Rage bubbled, hot and unfamiliar in this younger body. I wanted to storm and smash the wine glass over his head, scream the truth. But no. Patience. Ella. Play the long game. I slipped away before he spotted me, heart hammering. Back home, I pored over the photos. Victor Kane, ex-cop, now private security for the elite. Tied to Grant since the Senator's mayoral run. Jake had been playing me from the start, feeding tainted leads to discredit me, positioning himself as the hero. The realization hit like a gut punch. Our love was a setup, a honey trap to bury the story. That night, Jake showed up at my door with Thai takeout and that damn smile. Babe, you okay? You ghosted me all day. I forced a laugh, stepping aside. Deadline brain. Come in. We ate on the couch, his arm around me, talking shop. He mentioned Grant's aide, Tommy Ruiz, that poor bastard found in the river today. My fork froze midway to my mouth. This was it. The spark. In my old timeline, I'd chased that lead blindly, Jake steering me into the trap. Tell me more, I said, voice steady. You think it's connected to the campaign? His eyes flickered just a microsecond, but I caught it. Nah. Probably some gang shit. But hey, could be a story if we dig. We. The word twisted like a knife. I leaned in, kissing him softly, tasting the lie on his lips. Let's dig then. Together. He grinned, pulling me closer. As we tumbled into bed, my mind raced. This time, I'd lead him into the fire. But first, I needed allies. Untraceable ones. The next morning, I slipped out early, leaving Jake snoring. My target, Marcus Hale, a hacker I'd crossed paths with in the old life, befriended him in prison through smuggled notes. The only soul who believed my innocence. He ran a cybersecurity firm now, but back then, a ghost in the machine, dodging warrants in a Logan Square walk-up. I found his building, buzzed the intercom with a code I'd memorized from a future conversation. Hale, it's Ella Thompson. We need to talk. Silence. Then the door clicked. Up 3 flights. No elevator. My lungs burning. He answered in a bathrobe, bleary-eyed, a joint smoldering in an ashtray. Mid-30s. Tattoos snaking up his arms. Genius IQ hidden behind stoner vibes. "You ain't supposed to know that code," he said, eyeing me. "Call it a hunch." I stepped inside. The place a warren of servers and Red Bull cans. "I need your help." "Off books." He laughed. Skeptical. "With what?" "Your boyfriend's browser history." Closer. "Senator Grant." "And a murder that's about to frame me." His face sobered. We talked for hours, me spinning a hypothetical based on leaks I'd heard, him pulling strings on his rig. By lunch, he'd hacked Kane's emails, confirmations of payments to Jake. Dated weeks back. Proof. Digital gold. "You're in deep shit, Thompson," Marcus said, exhaling smoke. "This guy's connected. So am I." I pocketed a USB drive. "Keep digging." "And Marcus? If I disappear, you know what to do." He nodded. Uneasy. "This hypothetical gonna get real?" "Already is." As I left, the weight settled. Revenge wasn't clean, it was a stain that spread. But Jake? He'd pay first. Weeks blurred into a tense dance. I fed Jake leads on Ruiz's murder, watching him squirm as I accidentally uncovered his ties to Kane. Our nights grew strained, sex turning mechanical, arguments sparking over trust issues. He accused me of paranoia. I played the wounded girlfriend, all the while building my case. Then the controversial call. I leaked a teaser story to a rival outlet. Anonymous, hinting at Grant's dirt without naming Jake. The blowback was immediate. Tips to my editor about my unstable behavior. Jake confronted me one night, eyes wild. "Yeah. What the fuck? That leak, it's gonna tank us." "Us." I shot back, voice breaking for effect. "Or you." He grabbed my arm. Too tight. "You're spiraling. Maybe you need help." The bruise bloomed purple by morning. In the old life, I'd hidden it, gaslit myself. Now, I photographed it, added to the file. But doubt crept in. Was I becoming the monster? Framing him before he framed me? No. This was justice. Delayed but not denied. The climax built on a rainy April evening. Jake called. Voice urgent. "Meet me at the docks." Got a source on Ruiz. But come alone. The Chicago River lapped dark and oily under sodium lights. I arrived early. Concealed recorder in my pocket. Pepper spray tucked in my boot. He pulled up in his beat-up Civic. Face gaunt. "Yeah. Listen. Kane's involved. Deep. But if we go public..." A shadow detached from the warehouse. Victor Kane, burly and smirking, gun glinting in his holster. "Miss Thompson. Senator sends regards." Jake's betrayal crystallized. "I'm sorry," he whispered, but his eyes were on Kane. Rage ignited. I bolted, Kane's shout echoing as I dodged crates. Heart thundering. Bullets? No. Not yet. They needed me alive to plant the gun. But close enough. I lost them in the alleys, emerging blocks away, soaked and shaking. Back home, I uploaded everything to a dead man's switch. Photos, emails, the bruised timeline. One more piece. I broke into Jake's desk while he was out, finding the payoff envelope. Cash. $50,000. I took half, left the rest. Now, the game shifted. No more playing victim. Time to strike. The city felt like a powder keg, and I was the lit fuse. After the docks, sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. Every creak in the apartment was Kane's boot. Every shadow Jake's ghost. But fear? It sharpened me, honed my edges into something lethal. I moved operations to a cheap motel in Cicero. The kind with flickering vacancy signs and roaches that paid rent. Marcus met me there, lugging a duffel of tech to encrypted laptops, VPN routers, even a drone for surveillance. "You're Batman now," he joked, but his eyes were serious.
Worse.
Vengeful X. I plugged in the USB, watching files cascade. We exposed them layer by layer. Start with Jake. We crafted the drip, anonymous posts on journalism forums, whispers to bloggers. Sometimes editor takes bribes from grant campaign. Screenshots blurred just enough to tease. Sourced to a concerned insider. By dawn, Twitter, back when it was still Twitter, lit up. Jake's name trended locally. His inbox flooded. He called me hysterical.
Ella.
"It's you, isn't it? This shit, it's ruining me." "Ruining you?" I hissed into the burner. "Try life in Supermax." "Asshole." Silence. Then a choked sob. "What are you talking about?" I hung up, savoring the crack in his armor. But controversy brewed. My own editor summoned me back to the Trib, face thunderous. "Thompson, these leaks, people think you're involved. Clean it up, or you're benched." Benched? In the old timeline, that benching led to desperation, to chasing Ruiz alone.
Now.
I played contrite. "Sir, it's not me. But if it is Grant, we can't ignore it." He wavered, the scent of Pulitzer in the air.
Fine.
But tread light. No scandals. Light as a feather. Heavy as revenge. I embedded deeper, posing as a stringer on Grant's re-election tour. Rallies in Springfield, fundraisers in Naperville, smiling for selfies while pickpocketing donor lists from aides. One name jumped, Lydia Voss, Grant's chief of staff, the ice queen who'd testified against me. In this loop, she was Jake's other woman, their affair the lever that flipped him. I tailed her to a Gold Coast spa, bribing the receptionist for the schedule. Slipping in disguised as staff, I overheard her on the phone. "Harlan's wavering. Push him harder." Wavering.
Good.
I snapped audio. A golden nugget. But the decisions darkened. To get close to Grant, I needed dirt on Voss, real dirt. Marcus hacked her cloud, nudes. Sure. But worse, texts plotting Ruiz's disappearance. Blackmail material. Do I leak it? Ruin an innocent life for leverage? Voss wasn't innocent. She'd greenlit my framing. Still, the files stared back. Intimate and damning. "Fuck it," I muttered, hitting send to a gossip site. Grant aides steamy affair and secrets. By evening, Voss was trending. Her resignation for personal reasons announced at midnight. Collateral damage. I told myself. Necessary. Jake spiraled. He showed up at the Trib, disheveled, demanding to see me. Security dragged him out, but not before he screamed, "You're destroying everything, everything." As if his betrayal hadn't raised my world first. The tension peaked at a Grant gala in the Palmer House. Chandeliers dripping opulence over tuxes and gowns. I crashed it. Borrowed dress hugging curves I barely recognized. Hair pinned like armor. Jake was there. Arm candy to a new date. eyes bloodshot. He cornered me by the bar.
Ella. Please. Stop this.
I love you.
Love.
The word was poison. You loved the access. The payoff. His face crumpled. It wasn't like that. Grant threatened me, my family. Lies. I leaned in, voice a whisper. I know about Voss.
The docs.
Ruiz.
Panic flashed.
He grabbed my wrist, bruising again. You don't understand. They're monsters. Then why side with them? I yanked free, drawing eyes. Security hovered. Because you're the threat, he hissed. Always digging too deep. The revelation stung me. The threat. In his eyes, I was the villain. As he stormed off, Grant approached, silver fox charm masking the snake. MS.
Thompson.
Enjoying the evening? Immensely. Senator. I clinked his glass. Smile razor sharp. Heard about your aid. Tragic. His gaze hardened. Politics is a dirty game. Best not to play alone. Message received. That night, my motel room was tossed, drawers upended, laptop gone. Kane's work. I had backups, but the violation chilled me. Marcus relocated me to his crash pad, a fortified bunker in Wicker Park. We escalate, I said, pacing. Full expose. But timed right after I plant the seed. The seed, Jake's confession. I lured him to a neutral spot, a dive bar in Bridgeport, under pretense of reconciliation. He arrived desperate, reeking of scotch.
Ella.
I can't lose you. You already did. I slid a recorder across the table. Tell me everything. For us. He broke. Words tumbling. The bribes. Kane's threats. Planting the gun on me via a staged break-in. I thought it'd scare you off the story.
Not.
Not this. Tears streamed. Part of me pitied him, the boy I'd loved. But pity was a luxury. I let him ramble, capturing it all. Then the twist of the knife. And the baby? You knew, didn't you? Baby? My mind blinked. In the old life. No mention. What baby? His face twisted. Yours.
Ours.
The test came back positive the day before the docs. I couldn't. With the mess. Shock rooted me. Pregnant? A child. Lost to his betrayal. To prison grief I'd buried. Rage blinded. I slapped him. Hard. The bar falling silent. You're a monster, I spat. He fled, and I sat there, reeling. A secret buried deeper than grand scams, my own body, complicit in the loss I'd never mourned. The leak dropped at dawn. Jake's audio. Transcribed. Viral. Headlines screamed journalist confesses to frame job in Grant scandal. The city erupted, protests outside Grant's office. FBI whispers. Jake vanished. Phone dead. Voss sued for defamation. But her text surfaced, sinking her deeper. Grant called an emergency presser, denying all. But cracks showed, donors fleeing, polls tanking. Kane went to ground. But Marcus tracked his burner, calls to a hitman service. They were coming for me. I holed up, paranoia peaking. Controversial choice. Arm myself. A ghost gun from a contact Marcus knew. Untraceable. Holding it felt wrong, me. The pacifist reporter. now packing heat. But survival trumped morals. Nights blurred into strategy sessions. We hit Grant next, Marcus urged. Rally tomorrow, drone footage of the payoff.
Risky. Caught.
And I'd be the terrorist. But hesitation meant death. The rally in Grant Park. Thousands waving signs under a bruised sky. I launched the drone from a rooftop, heart in throat as it buzzed low, capturing Grant shaking hands with Kane. Envelope exchange slick as sin. Live streamed. It broke the internet. Chaos erupted, fights breaking out,
Cops charging.
In the melee, I spotted Jake, wild-eyed, pushing through the crowd toward me.
Ella.
Wait. I ran, the gun heavy in my purse. He caught me in a side street, grabbing my shoulders. It's over. I told the feds everything. Immunity for you. Lies? Truth? His eyes pleaded. Broken man before me.
Why?
I demanded. Because. The baby. I can't live with it. Grief cracked my armor. For a moment, forgiveness flickered, second chances all around. Then Kane's van screeched up.
Door sliding.
Gunfire, warning shots. Jake shoved me aside, taking the bullet meant for me. He crumpled, blood pooling, eyes locking on mine. Run, he gasped. I ran, tears blurring, the shot echoing like judgment. Sirens wailed as I melted into the crowd, the drone feed looping on every screen, Grant's empire crumbling in pixels. Jake's body hit the pavement like a punctuation mark, his sacrifice a bitter twist I hadn't scripted. Was it redemption? Or just fear? I didn't stop to mourn. Grief was a chain, and I'd cut mine long ago. Feds swarmed Grant Park, hauling aides. But the senator slipped the net, Chopper whisking him to a safe house in the suburbs. Kane? Ghosted. But Marcus pinged his phone in a Gary warehouse, Rust Belt hell.
Perfect for a showdown.
I drove north on I-94. Windows down. Wind whipping tears dry. The gun rode shotgun. A cold companion. Controversial? Hell yes. Vigilante justice in America's heartland. One woman against the machine. But the machine had taken my freedom, my child, my faith. Fair trade. The warehouse loomed, chain link rattling in the lake breeze. I parked a block away, approached on foot. Shadows my ally. Inside, crates stamped with Grant's pack. Kane barking orders to 2 goons, packing evidence for the burn. She's done.
Boss.
Feds are circling. Kane snarled. Not till I say. That bitch took everything. Everything. Echoes of my cell block rants. I slipped through a side door, pulse thundering, aiming for the shadows. But a loose board creaked, game over. Lights snapped on. Kane's pistol trained. Thompson. Knew you'd come crawling. Not crawling. I raised my hand slow, mind racing. Just collecting. He laughed. Advancing. Your boyfriend? Collateral. Like Ruiz. Ruiz the aide, killed for threatening to flip. You pulled the trigger? Kane shrugged. Orders. Grant's clean hands. My dirty work. The goons flanked. Zip ties ready. My moment. I dropped low, drawing the ghost gun. Firing wild. One goon dropped, clutching his knee, non-lethal. But enough chaos. The other lunged. I sidestepped, pistol whipping him down. Kane charged. massive frame barreling. We grappled. His hands on my throat, the old chokehold from my death dream. Should have stayed dead. Black spots danced. With a surge, I kneed his groin, twisting free. Gun skittered, mine. I fired. Center mass. He staggered, eyes wide, collapsing in a heap. Silence fell, broken only by groans. I zip-tied the survivors. Called Marcus. It's done. Send the cavalry. Cops arrived, sirens blazing. Feds in tow. Grant surrendered at dawn. Voss flipped for a plea. Spilling the web.
Me?
Hero or killer? The media spun both. Whistleblowers deadly, Stan versus Vigilantes slays in Grant scandal. Interrogations dragged. My story. The rebirth, a secret buried deep. Self-defense. I claimed. The bruises from Jake. The audio proof. They bought it mostly. Charges dropped, but the stain lingered. Controversial icon. They called me. Protests chanted my name. Death threats flooded my inbox. Months later, trial season hit. Grant. Life sentence for corruption and conspiracy.
Kane. Murder 1.
Voss. 10 years. Jake's tape sealed fates. His death a martyr's badge. I testified. Voice steady. The courtroom a blur of flashbulbs. But the twist? In the evidence purge. Marcus found it. My pregnancy test, faked by Jake to manipulate. No baby ever. A deeper betrayal. Using my body as a prop in his game. Rage reignited. But hollow now. No child lost. Just another lie. I quit the Trib. Started a non-profit, exposing corruption. Training whistleblowers. Lila podcasts my comeback, sanitizing the blood. Dates?
Sparse.
Trust? Shattered glass. One night, alone in a new apartment overlooking the lake, I raised a glass to the woman in the mirror, scarred but standing. Reborn not just in body,
but soul.
Revenge wasn't catharsis, it was reconstruction. Brick by painful brick. Jake's ghost lingered, whispering what if, but I silenced him. This life was mine, flawed, fierce, unapologetic. The city lights twinkled below, a constellation of secrets waiting to burn. And for the first time, I slept without chains.